2 days ago, I released a new song on a new album, and that one song got over 11,737 streams just on Spotify alone, not including all the other songs on the album, not including YouTube, not including Apple Music, Deezer, or even Amazon. And in this video, I'm going to break down what we did to promote that song, what we're also doing to promote a song for the last 3 weeks. We're literally on day 21, if you can believe it, of this 30-day challenge to see if I can take a song from literally like 0 streams to thousands of streams. How many streams have we gotten so far of this challenge? Like, how many have I actually gotten? Have we triggered the algorithm yet? And what you can do to promote and blow up your songs. My name's Chris, also known as the artist Manafest. I have about 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. We've gotten way over 130 million. I'm getting my new plaque soon, which is actually 223 million streams total. I'm an independent artist just like you. We got about 100,000 subscribers on our Manafest channel, hoping to get 100,000 here on the Smart Music Business one. So if you're not subscribed yet, smash that button if this video has been helping. But before we get into today's lesson, I'm going to take out a piece of paper, okay? And I want you to write down $100,000, okay? Because I feel like that's a really good goal for everybody to want to achieve. And let me know in the comments if you want to make 6 figures from your music, okay? And the first 6 figures I ever made was from touring. Like, I'll never forget when we made even $20,000 the first month. I added up all the money, the merch from all the shows and everything, and I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen that much money. And I thought, if I can do that once, I can do it again. And so that's how I made my money, from touring. And then eventually I got paid from publishing. And then I remember when CD Baby offered to distribute my music digitally, and I was too scared because I didn't want anyone stealing my songs, right? And so I actually held off on iTunes, if you can believe that, and Apple Music. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm tapped into this global network and global world of making money online with my music, right? Like, before that, it was like I always had this local mentality. But you've got to stop thinking local and you got to start going global. And so all of a sudden I'm starting to make money from streaming, right? Which was crazy. And then I had registered my songs with SoCan and ASCAP and all that. And I'm starting to get publishing royalties, which is absolutely crazy. Back in the day, we used to do CDs with distributors or even with stores on consignment. Finally got a distribution deal. And then I started seeing checks from the distributors. We'd mail them our CDs and whatnot. And then finally, I signed a record deal, which I regret. And if you want the full story, get my book, Fighter, 5 Keys to Conquering Fear and Reaching Your Dreams. But we ended up getting a deal. Then I started to make money through sync placements, sound exchange, and like just all of these different income streams, right? TV and film placements. Like, we got one TV film placement last year, which was like 6 figures for just being in the Olympics, okay, which is crazy. And so there's a lot of different ways you can make 6 figures with your music. But first, you got to focus on one of them, okay? And that means you got to follow one course until successful. When you start to try and build all these different income streams and you don't focus on one, you are scattered, you're distracted, and you have all these half-built mountains. It's very popular to hear about, millionaires who have all these different income streams. And yeah, they do, but it's normally because of one first. They grew the one and they sustained that one first, then they grew the next one. And that was the biggest and the dumbest mistake I made first was, look, I had my job and I was making really good money from the job. And so that's here cranking along and I'm making some good money from my music, like on the weekends. But I was like, that's not enough. I got to go full time, or I'm not a real artist, or at least that's what I thought. And so what did I do? I started to make money. I got signed. So I thought that meant I had to quit my job. And I killed my biggest income stream. While this one was just starting to like make some money, and I go and kill this one. And you know what that did? That put all this pressure on this income stream before I had fully built it. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine like you're trying to grow a tree and like you're putting all this support on it because you don't want the leaves to bend, and you're trying to give it support and growth. And it's literally like you're removing that safety net. You're removing those buffers. And so all of a sudden music became my job and a stress. as opposed to just an art form. And that put a lot of pressure on me. Long story short, obviously we figured it out. I learned how to tour full time and finally had success, which felt like forever. And I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I love that proverb. Even though a righteous man falls down 7 times, he gets up and goes again. Don't get weary doing good. So hopefully you've written $100,000 on your piece of paper. Now what I want you to do is I want you to write down how much you made from music last year. If it was $1,000, write 1,000. If it was $10,000, write 10,000. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to write down $10,000. I made a lot more than that for my music. But let's just say it was $10,000 and then subtract that from the 100,000, you will get $90,000. Okay? So that's what you paid life for not knowing how to make $100,000 with your music. That's what you paid life for not making $100,000 in business or from your job. Like even from your job, if you only made 100,000, or if you only made, let's just say 50,000, then that means you paid life $50,000 for not knowing how to make 6 figures. Okay. And so everybody pays. You either pay to learn, you either pay the ignorance tax, or you pay mentors, or you pay an education to get there, or pay through the school of hard knocks. But everybody pays. But you see, what I love to do is I love to read books. I love coaching. I love learning from other people so I can avoid mistakes. Yes, pain is a good teacher. Ignorance is a good teacher sometimes, and getting slapped in the face. But like to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results is the definition of insanity. So if you're not making 6 figures from your music or your job, the question is, what are you going to change? What are you going to do differently this year? Okay, we're in the month 8 of the year. We're in the last quarter. Okay, it was publishing month. It was a publishing month on the 15th. So you should have gotten your publishing royalties. Are you even getting paid from your publishing royalties? Like here's a definition of ignorance, not knowing that you can make money from your music on Sound Exchange and that money just sitting there. How do I know? Because it was sitting there for years and I finally registered it and I got a $13,000 check. How about not knowing about your publishing royalties, which do not stay there forever? Okay. And eventually they become black box royalties. And if you leave them long enough, who gets them? Some of the top artists in the world get them. They just go into this big pool and Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Drake, or Eminem, or whoever some of the top artists are, just goes into a big pool that they just take because we don't know and we don't collect on them. How about YouTube, right? Once you've had views on YouTube and your videos aren't monetized, they can't go back and get those views. Like it's gone, right? Or how about when you were at a show? You perform on stage and you don't know how to ask fans to buy your merch, or, you sold CDs, for only $10 and you had 3 CDs, but you didn't offer the deal, hey, buy 1 CD or get 3 for 20. And then you could have sold way more merch. Or you could have said, hey, if you buy a t-shirt, you just get the CD free. And all of a sudden you sell a crap load more shirts and then you just give the music away. You see, these are all the different little strategies, right, that we miss out on. And unfortunately, that's why people perish, for a lack of knowledge, just for not knowing. And so I hope this challenge has been helpful because I'm going to show you what we've been doing. I'm going to share my screen. We've been running ads now to promote a song to a Spotify playlist for a song that has been getting like literally barely any streams. It was getting like maybe 60 streams a day. And now it's gotten thousands. But on Friday, I released a new song. And I want to show you something really cool because I don't know if anybody's shown you this before. Let's go in and share my Spotify for Artists dashboard. Let's pop up this guy here. And so let's click on home. And we can see how many people are listening. 157 people are listening right now. 160 goes up, goes down. So here's the new album I released, but I'm concerned about the song. Okay, so here's the new album. Here's the new song. So far it looks like it's gotten 18,000 streams total, and it's just Sunday right now. So if we click on it, and let's click on, let's just go down here. So day 1, 11,730 streams. Boom, shakalaka, green light. Woo, love that. Yesterday, it got about 6,000 streams. So that's pretty good, man, especially for a Saturday. And so it's Sunday right now. We'll see how many we're at. But right now, we're at about 21,000 streams. And I'm hoping we get a lot more. Now, what's really cool is, and hopefully you can see this, is if I click on song stats and go to my activity, we can see this is today, all the playlists that I got for Walking into Fire. Okay, and we charted in Ecuador. We got this playlist. We charted in Mexico, and then we got, this is now what? This is yesterday. Look at all these playlists we got. We charted in Canada, which is dope. Look at all these playlists. Playlist after playlist after playlist after playlist after playlist. Okay. So that's because I was willing to do the work on the front end. Okay. And we did get an editorial playlist, but let's take a look, man. If we click on playlist, the last 28 days, it's really the last 2 days. So Release Radar, baby, 12,540 streams. All New Christian Gospel got me 319. Your DJ has already gotten me 149, 88. And then we got a whole bunch of those independent playlists. Okay, and some of them got me some decent streams. There's one of my playlists. Okay, so we did pretty good as far as like streams. I would have liked more, and that's fine. We had the Spotify Canvas on there, that helped. But the reason why you came here is for the song Help. What is that doing right now? Well, let's take a look and click on it. And I want to see what we've been doing here. So you can see where we turned ads on. So we had about 63 streams when we started. And if we keep going, we went all the way up to 719. Then we dipped down on the weekend. Then we went up on the Monday. We dipped down on Wednesday, which is interesting. And then we're back up on Friday. And of course, we're having our little dip on the weekend right now. And so I'm really hoping by Saturday, Sunday, we really start to crush. But if you look in the last 28 days, we have gotten 9,000 streams, okay, which is pretty dope. And if we click last 7, 4,000 of those streams. So almost 5,000 streams. So when you look at it, the last 28 days, that really includes about 7 days when we weren't getting really anything, okay, which will really show up is the 28 days when we've been crushing it, okay? It's going to be thousands because we're getting 7, let's just say, like, for instance, 846 streams a day, 846 times 30, that's about 25,000 streams, okay? But if we click on playlists and let's go the last 28 days, look at this number. Last 28 days, 126 streams from radio. Last 7 days, 85 streams from radio. Last 24 hours, 17 streams. So as you can see, the radio algorithm is finally starting to give us some streams. If we go the last 7 days, not bad. It's definitely mostly me. But then we got 88 or 85 from radio, 56 from mixes. Let's actually add this up. I'm going to actually add these up. So I paid for 641. Mixes gave us 85 plus 56 plus 29 plus, what's the other one? Plus 5. Plus 5. So the algorithm now gave us 175 streams. So we're almost at the halfway point. And that's what I'm hoping for, right? Like, that's what's going to take this thing into the freaking stratosphere. Like, I can't wait until that algorithm just grabs a hold of this song and just freaking wrenches it. And how do I know it's going to grab it? Well, we're already starting to see more. I haven't seen it on Discover Weekly yet, but you know it's a really good tail sign. And again, if you've been watching all the days, you know this. But look at this number. Look at this number. I'm really geeking out about this number. Look. Let's go here. Spotify for artists. I shared the wrong one. Go back to help. Look at this number here. Last 28 days, 2.9 streams per listener. That's huge, man. 2.9. That means people are almost listening to the song 3 times. You don't listen to a song 3 times if you don't like it. Like, what were they doing the last 12 months? 4 times. That's interesting. Very interesting. 28, though, right here. 3 times per listener. That's huge. Now, if it's cool, and you got to let me know in the chat, let me know if this is cool. I want to share with you the waterfall strategy in what we're doing, like why I released my songs the way I do. And the way I teach this, I teach it in 2 books. You got to get both of them. There is, if I have them both here, there's Spotify Profits, okay, which is the strategy for the waterfall and releasing songs. And then there's Playlist Profits. They're 2 different books. One of them teaches you the strategy for releasing songs, okay, and singles leading up to the albums. The other one is how you promote them with playlists using meta ads, okay, and Facebook and Instagram ads. Become a playlist curator, because I get paid for a lot of my ads that I'm spending, right? Like I get paid for it, obviously from the streams, but also as a curator, I get paid as well too, right? And so releasing a song leading up to an album, I want to show you what we did, so you can see this in real time here, which is really dope, because I always release singles leading up to albums. So check this out. Let's share this. So let's click on music. And so you can see the album is here, and you got all these songs, right? All 10 of them got released as singles. So all of them, when they showed up in my upcoming, I pitched them. See where it says pitch a song here? So I pitched every single one of my songs so that I could pitch it to their editors. But most importantly, so I could pitch it to Release Radar, because Release Radar is the beast, baby, and also Trigger Radio and whatnot. But let's click on releases. And so I released this song. Let's go Ready to Go. This one came out, if we look here, just like, let's go all time, 12 months. It came out here as a single, 9,000 streams, okay? That's what it got when it came out. And then it started to dip down. Let's just go last 28 days so we can see this, okay? So that's when it came out. It starts to dip down. Now we're getting like a few hundred streams a day. We had a little bump here, whoop, 660. Then we're kind of starting to dip down. And then why did all of a sudden we jump up to 1,000 streams again? Well, because it's part of the album, okay? And so now we got a whole bunch more streams. I did this with my song Powerful. This song came out as a single. Let's just go 12 months. Okay, so when it came out, about 12,000 streams. Dang, that one did really good. And then, we dipped down, started to dip down to the point where we're only getting a few hundred streams a day. And then when I re-release it with the Waterfall, we get that nice bump, friggin' 1,500 streams almost, okay? So the idea here is that you release your song as singles. What I like to do is I like to release 1 single, 2 single, 3, 4, and then I bundle all 4 of those as an EP with 5, and then that 5th one is the one that I pitch, and then all 4 of those get a nice lift. Then I release a 6th single, a 7th, 8th, 9th, right? And then what I just did on Friday, I released all 10 of them now on the album. Okay, so that's what I did for my album, Walking into Fire. Go stream it up for me, okay? Run those streams up for me as a thank you. And then so all of those songs literally got thousands of streams. Okay, so that's why we got a nice huge bump on Friday just of the whole catalog, which I'm so blessed and so thankful for. Okay, and so this strategy works. I want to show you what we're doing with the ads quickly, and then we'll shut her down for today. But I hope this has been valuable. So if we look at yesterday, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 different ad sets. We spent $126, okay? But that's Canadian. So what is that American? So $75. So I still haven't even spent $100 a day yet. But the problem is we're paying too much for these. The ad costs are going up. And if you look at let's just go the last 28 days. So we can see where the frequency here is, the average number of times each accounts have seen your ad. And so we can see this one's hit 1.6. This one's hit 1.5. So we're starting to fatigue the audience a little bit there, which blows my mind. And of course, those are the ones where we spent the most, like 39 a day, 54 a day, $700, 340. We've only spent $1,100. Okay, we spent $1,100 Canadian. And what is that? America, $660. Okay, so we barely spent anything, but I need to widen this audience. And so as you can see here, the targeting of Eminem has been the one that's where we spent the most. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on edit, and I'm going to open up the targeting a little bit more. I'm actually going to remove Eminem from this to try and open up the targeting a little bit more. And I'm going to remove him, and then I'm going to click publish. Okay, and now what's happened is that's going to reset the ad and go into the learning phase again. Okay, and you need 50 conversions a week to get out of the learning phase so that it optimizes, okay? Now, I can see out of, let's go last 7 days for these top two, okay, 46, 49 cents. How about yesterday? 51 cents, 59, and what about today? Okay, 53 and 58. So I'm going to give a little bit more budget to this one because it's really not so much about budget as it is about optimizing right now, but I still want to spend more money just for the sake of it. I really need to do more ads. And so I'm bumping up the budgets a little bit more and I'm trying to optimize the other ones. But what really needs to take place now is I need some new ads. I'm overpaying for all you supposedly ad gurus. Look, I got other ads that are getting 14 cents per click. Okay. But just for the sake of this, and we've just been doing this every day, and I'll be honest, man, it's exhausting doing this. So make sure you share and leave comments and share this up if it's been valuable. I've been literally going live for 21 days straight, man. I'm trying to commit to you guys here, but I need some new ads. Okay, so I need to stop being lazy and I need some new creatives and I need to test some stuff because I'm paying too much. Even though I'm raising the budget, well, sure, I'm tweaking the audiences and we'll do that. But like there were times where I was paying less and I was getting more. You know, I'm getting more clicks, but now I'm paying more budget, but I'm getting less. And that's because the ad costs have gone up because we've started to scale. And so this is where you got to be really careful. We need to have either more ad creatives, do more targeting, just do more ad sets, and you kind of scare, instead of just scaling vertically with the budget, you want to kind of scale horizontally. And this is where strategy and knowing what you're doing, and I've spent over $500,000 on ads over my career. And so, you know, I got to make sure that I'm being smart. But at the same time, at the end of the day, like, I just want you guys to get the lesson. I want you to see the triggering the algorithm is the biggest thing. I feel like, man, like if we end up spending $1,000 and maybe I'll bump up the last budget at the end of the day. I don't know how we're going to do it yet. I'm just kind of freestyling, having some fun on the fly here. But what I'll do is if we end up triggering the algorithm pretty big this week before the challenge is done, I'll either increase the ads a bit more or I'll start to dial them back so that we can see what happens when I turn the ads off. Has the algorithm really grabbed it and now going to share it? Now, the reason I didn't go and just spend $1,000 or $500 a day is because what we don't want this like big spike of data and then drop off. Okay. We want a nice steady arc for Spotify because we want to feed it data over time so it doesn't look weird. And it's not like, yo, what's going on here? Was that like a bot? Was that like, you know, artificial streaming as they call it? And we don't want that. We want that consistent flow and feeding. And again, if you've watched the other videos, Apple Music has been huge. And so by the end of next week, I'll be able to have shown you 3 weeks of Apple Music streams and Shazams just going through the roof as well too. So the whole thing is pretty cool. The whole catalog has gotten a lift. I'll show you this last thing and then we're going to call it for today. But like, remember what I said that we're going to a playlist? Okay. Remember we're going to a Spotify playlist. And the reason we're doing that is because if we look at playlists and we go the last 28 days, let's find my playlist. This is my algorithmic. This is Manafest. I want this one. So it's only reports 10 songs, but we've gotten 5,600 streams from that one alone just in the last 28 days. So the whole catalog gets a lift. We trigger the algorithm. We don't just grow on Spotify. We grow on Facebook. We grow on Instagram. We grow on Apple Music, Amazon, and of course Spotify. Like and like the whole thing gets a lift. It's really awesome. And of course YouTube. I showed you how YouTube streams also started to go through the roof as well too. So that's one of the reasons why I just freaking love this strategy. Again, if you need more help, book a call with us. Come to my next Spotify challenge. If you missed the last one, the next one is September. Get a ticket because the prices are going to go up, or read Playlist Profits, okay? But in the meantime, watch this next video because we're going to be on day 22 so I can show you what's happening next. Have a great day, everyone.